Hi, I'm Samantha Mango. Welcome to Sullivan 180 Presents Take 5. Our guest today is Taylor Jaffe with Catskill Mountainkeeper. Welcome, Taylor. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm very excited.
Oh, me too. Can you please introduce yourself, give us a brief description of your role, and talk a little bit about Catskill Mountainkeeper?
Yeah, so my name is Taylor Jaffe. I'm the environmental justice coordinator at Catskill Mountainkeeper. And Catskill Mountainkeeper is a nonprofit in the region, kind of, working for environmental rights, protecting resources, helping with the smart economy and all of that kind of good green stuff.
Great. Can you tell us about your research and the work that you're doing with Mountain Keeper?
Yeah, so my research started off kind of doing some consulting last winter. I got a bird's eye view of the region. So 6 counties: Delaware, Greene, Otsego, Schoharie, Sullivan, and Ulster counties. And just kind of thinking about environmental justice in terms of the issues in the region and also the communities that live here, kind of getting a sense of who is kind of housing, like who is stuck with different hazards and who gets benefits.
And what is considered a hazard?
Great question. So in my kind of preliminary research, I started off looking at things like Superfund sites, dumps, transfer facilities, that kind of thing, water infrastructure and different really tangible issues. There's definitely a lot more, but I kind of went off of what different government sites had available to just kind of keep it pretty as basic as we could get. And then I took all of those data points and overlaid it with different communities. So the DEC talks about environmental justice communities in terms of potential environmental justice areas. So those are block groups, census block groups that have different thresholds for being low income or minority communities. And just kind of looking at how Superfund sites or, water issues kind of intersect within these communities in the region.
And how many are in Sullivan County?
Great question. I'm pretty sure there are 38 potential environmental justice areas in Sullivan County. And,
Wow.
we don't have so many people. So it's
Yeah.
definitely a lot. Out of all of the Catskill region, Ulster County and Sullivan County have the most hazards and the most potential environmental justice areas. So we've got some good work to be doing in the county.
Sure do. Yeah. So, what exactly does that mean for our county in both the short term and long term future?
Mm-hmm. So in the short term, a lot of my work right now is kind of taking what I gathered, this bird's eye view, and digging deeper, thinking about, the history of what did a community look like when a Superfund site was, some kind of functioning place, who lived there then and who lives there now and how did it get there? So digging a little bit deeper at specific sites is kind of the short term. And long term, environmental justice, I think for Mountain Keeper and for me has a lot to do with intersectionality. This is a term and a phrase kind of coined by Kimberly Crenshaw from the feminist movement, and it talks about how race, gender, class, and other individual characteristics overlap. So when we're thinking about environmental justice, we're kind of thinking about all of these different systems intersecting with one another. And, the goal is that everyone has a healthy environment to live and work. Everyone gets to have a equal say in kind of, what gets cited where. And, if we were to need a new dump, we want to make sure everyone's having a say in the process. And
Yeah.
ultimately, like having environmental justice would mean justice kind of across all of these different levels of intersection.
Yeah. And we do have a lot of intersectionality in our county, which I
Definitely.
think gets overlooked often because we are so rural.
Yes. Yeah. I think a big part about working in the Catskills and Sullivan County specifically is that, people think we see, I've got this nice background. we wake up and we see all these mountains and, rivers, and we have the best water. But even though we have all of these resources, everyone isn't accessing them equally. So
Right.
that's really the challenge right now.
So how can people stay up to date with your work and Catskill Mountainkeeper and learn more?
Yeah, so Catskill Mountainkeeper, we're pretty active on our social medias right now, which has been very exciting. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you were to go to catskillmountainkeeper.org, you can also sign up to be on our email list. Those are really great ways to stay up to date. If you're kind of curious about something in your area, feel free to contact me directly. My email is Taylor, Taylor, at catskillmountainkeeper.org. And part of what I'm doing right now is also listening projects. So if there is anything that you kind of are curious about, or, you have an experience that doesn't feel right, or, any kind of thing in the area, I'd love to hear about it and just listen and see, what we can do. Really, I'm at a big information gathering stage. So I'd love to be able to listen to anyone in the community.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Yes, I am so excited. New York there's only a few states where in the Constitution you have a right to a healthy environment. And New York State has the potential to become one of those.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so on November 2nd, on the back of the ballot, you'll be able to flip it over and vote yes for the right to a healthy environment, which
Very
is
important.
very important and very exciting.
Great to know. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, thank you for asking.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Taylor, and thanks for helping make Sullivan a healthier community.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the work that you're doing.